I'm so glad someone. I love you, Bill. You're amazing. Thank you for
I
making
love
this.
you too, and I mean that in the straightest way possible.
Same way, but straightest way possible. No homo. All right, so here we go. So Ferris Bueller's Death. Can I chime in on this for a sec?
You may absolutely chime in on this.
I think I know what you're talking about when you brought this up. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a classic from the 80s. It's a classic 80s film. The Ferrari, the girlfriend, Cameron, Ferris, whole thing. I gotta tell you, when the rumors were going around that a sequel was going to happen about Ferris taking a day off from work, so we're flying after the Super Bowl commercial with Matthew Broderick taking a day off from acting that Honda did with him. You remember that?
Was there talk like, oh my God, is there going to be a Ferris Bueller too?
A lot of people were like, imagine if Matthew Broderick actually came back as Ferris Bueller, but as an adult. And plus, this is one of those films that a lot of people forget. The end of the movie, they set it up to have a sequel. Like the end, like when the last time you see his girlfriend, she's like, he's going to marry me one day. And that left the door open. I mean, hey, if Mia Sarah and what's his name? Alan Gluck, I forget his name. And Matthew Broderick want to come back to do a sequel to Ferris Bueller's Day Off and have it like he's older, he's getting away from his kids, he's getting away from his job for the day. That would be something. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't think we'll see one, to be honest with you, but it would be fascinating to see a sequel to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bill, what do you think about that?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for hijacking my pick.
So it was coming because the moment you said that, I'm like, that's a great
it's okay.
One. Yeah, what do you got?
I absolve you from your sins. Anyway, here were the ideas that they had. They were gonna do a sequel about Ferris's first day of college.
Okay.
Or his first day of work.
Yeah, that's yeah. So I just said
that maybe would have worked. At one point, there was actually a heavy consideration to do a sequel on Ferris's 40th birthday.
Okay.
When he's a motivational speaker and begins to go through a midlife crisis.
That could work.
That could have worked. And he convinces his business manager to take a day off from work. And that was sequel, but then that was a sequel. But however, in 2009, John Hughes passed away.
Yeah, sadly.
And that put the end to the sequel.
Can I be honest? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I would love to see a sequel to this, like, because this is one of those few 80s films like that, like you can't do a 16 Candles 2 or Pretty in Pink 2, like one of those like Rat Pack type of films. But you definitely could. You could, Bill. You could try and pull some strings with people because this is a movie that people still have seen for the most part. And just apologies for hijacking your pick on this one.
You are forgiven.
Thank you, sir.
So
and this time, instead of a Ferrari, it's a modern day Ferrari.
Yeah, you know what? Because when we talked about films that should get a sequel, we talked about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like, here's what I would think. Like, maybe have it. Maybe this would be a little recycled. To come to think about it, years later.
Like not decades, but years later.
No, decades later. Let's go decades.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
No, but now Ferris has a child of his own.
That would be something.
And maybe the kid does the same thing.
Well, that's like the go-to Hollywood thing. Like, let's have the sequel with the kid of the 80s iconic character. I would love to see, like, they did that they talked about that with Goonies. They said, let's do a Goonies too, but it's the kids for the Goonies.
Yeah, and it could have been like when they find out the kid has skipped school, Ferris is parents like, oh, you are in so much trouble, young man or lady, whatever the child is, whatever gender the child is.
Yes.
Okay, let's say it's his son. You're in big trouble, young man. You are so grounded.
Right.
And then be like, oh, like you never did this. And then Ferris Bueller goes, okay, I did. And then a nice conversation, and that's how the film ends. But I don't know. Do you think maybe that would have been a little recycled?
That idea of having the kids do it of the 80s. Like let's say Molly Ringwald's daughter has a 16th birthday. That's so like I wait to see that personally. I'd rather see Matthew Broderick come out of his New York apartment and get signed on to do a Ferris Bueller's Day Off 2 and have it so he it's literally is him taking a day off from work and doing stuff on his own that way. That seems more appealing to me personally. But that's just me.
Because one of the big tropes that a lot of people hate in sequels is the kids of the characters from the first one have to learn the same lessons that their parents learned in the first one.
Correct.
But yeah, so do you think there should be a Ferris Bueller sequel? Do you think maybe it's a good thing it got scrapped?
To be honest with you, I think that so much time has gone by where the world has gotten like into its own in the way it is now. I think the world, to be honest, Bill, I think the world needs a Ferris Bueller's Day Off 2 to lighten the mood, if you will, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's me personally. I mean, I feel like if they did a Ferris Bueller's Day Off 2 with Ferris taking a day off of work, similar to what the car commercial was during the Super Bowl halftime show, I think that would be amazing. Personally, I think that would be more because I would hate to see like Ferris's daughter or son go through this. I'd rather just have like an actual like. I'd rather have Ferris Bueller himself take a day off from work and hell yeah, get his wife involved because like bring Mia Sarah out of retirement and have her do it too. And say, hey, remember that? And like reminisce, like remember that day that we took a day off from high school. Let's do it again, but let's take a day off.
But then again, do you think it's kind of recycling the first one? Just instead of a kid taking off from school, it's an adult taking off from work.
I would say yes and no. I would say yes, it's recycled, but no, it's not that. It's not like it's a recycled idea at the same time. I think it's doable, to be honest with you. I think you could definitely do a sequel with like him taking off a day from work and bring Karen back as well. Like the guy, Alan, I think his name's Ruck, whatever. I don't even know.
Alan Ruck.
Yeah. So like just bring all of them back and have them day off. Have the three of them take a day off and reminisce about their day off in the 80s and go from there. That's what I say.
That could have worked.
I mean, because I would have loved to have seen Ferris take a day from work than rather his kid. You know what I mean? Because if you do the kid, it's such a cop out, anyways. Jump me over to the chat board for 1 sec as well, Bill. Hero of Time. Thank you for chatting, by the way. I think that if it was made today, it would have to be. It would have been good, but either way, it would have been just as good. Not as great or better than the first one. I tend to agree with that. I mean, it's not like you're trying to reenact like the same like emotional feel of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and you could do it with like the right writer and director. But yeah, that's me personally. I mean, definitely a good comment, Bill. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
A Hero of Time in the chat board says that I think that if it was made today, it would have been good, but either way, it would have been just as good, not as great, or better than the first one. What do you think about that?
Interesting thought.
Yeah, thank you again, and thank you to everyone who's watching and listening to us, whether it's live or in general. You guys are amazing. We thank you we thank all the guys and gals very much for listening to us. You guys are amazing. Go you. So, anyways, for any other thoughts for Ferris Bueller, my friend, because I got one at the chat board that's itching for me to talk about.